Hi, welcome along to the All Guns Blazing podcast with my man DT in the building with me. How you doing, man?
I'm alright.
Behaving?
Yeah, I am this week.
You know what, last week was emotional, man. You know what I mean? I was looking for all the comments in that video last week, and I was looking like on Twitter and everything, and there was a lot of love for you, man.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
There was a lot of love for you, man. You know what, I think people really resonated with the things you said and really understood a lot of the things you were saying. And you know what, the funny thing was that this week, that whole social media thing blew up as well for other, not to do with football, but I saw so many, things around social media. There was that kid who'd been bullied. Yeah, it turned out he wasn't really.
Well, do you know what? That one's still a bit of a weird one, isn't it? I don't know what to think. Apparently, the GoFund page was not set up by his parents. It was set up by a chancer, and there's 50-odd grand being put in it.
Yeah, but it just it was a real sort of eye opener to like social media, and you kind of started it last week with the things you were saying about trolls and that, and it was really, really good. So, listen, if you haven't seen that or you haven't downloaded that podcast yet, get on that. Of course, it's on iTunes. You can watch it on our YouTube page, Facebook. You know what I mean? And it is. Honestly, check it out. It's absolutely brilliant. But
let's talk about football this week.
We're talking about football now. You know what? At this time of year, right? I was just thinking to myself this morning that this time of year, like my son, as you know, he's at a football academy. Your son's at a football academy as well. And at this time of year, just before Christmas comes, they do a review. So, they'll get like the players in with the parents, and they sit them down and they'll be like, yeah, okay, so this is what he's been doing well at, this is what he needs to work on a bit, and you know what I mean? And basically they do a review of how you've been performing, the sort of previous quarter, and tell you what they believe you need to improve on, and congratulate you on what you've been doing well and everything, give you words of encouragement, or if there's things that you ain't been doing so great, they say you literally need to, So I thought, you know what? Let's do that with the Arsenal players, because, the thing that's really, after the performances recently especially, I mean, I saw the, obviously we didn't get to go to Southampton, neither of us, because we got stranded in the snow. Yeah. But, mind you, that's probably a good thing, because they were dreadful that day.
My God, they were
And then the other night now against West Ham, dreadful again. Not able to break down teams. And I started to think to myself, even walking around before that game, I was talking to people, and I'm like, what do you reckon? And most people, Arsenal fans, are like, yeah, we should win. And I was like, if we came to West Ham 3-4 years ago, it wouldn't be we should win. It is we're gonna win. Even the expectations of the fans has been lowered now. And basically, I think you said it in one of your videos, which I agree with you. It's like we've gone backwards. We're like mediocre at the moment, aren't we?
Do you know what I've noticed within the fans? The away support has always been really good, but this season especially, it seems really flat. It's like
you're right. In some games, it's been flat.
It's like the fans are just acceptant of what's going on. They're kind of just going through the motions, and a lot of people they vented their anger and their frustration and everything last season. And now Wenger's got his new contract. A lot of people have gone from that, wanting to protest and voice their opinions and everything, to just having to accept it, deal with it, and let's just try and get through the next year and a bit until he's gone as quick as we can. And
it's terrible, isn't it?
And that's how it feels. There's like an acceptance.
I have to admit, it does seem like that. Because the performances away from home in particular have been nothing short of like dreadful. When I was kind of analysing it, the teams the good teams, the top teams, when we've gone there, we've got hammered, apart from Chelsea. So hammered at Liverpool, hammered at City. All right, we did all right at Chelsea. Then everybody else, apart from the game against Everton, basically everywhere else we've gone, we've struggled. Even when we've won, with Burnley, we struggled. Right? At the end of the day, we just about got over the line, but it's just been poor. And The other night against West Ham, the inability to break down a team that puts everybody behind the ball, which we know that's what everybody's going to do.
Yep.
And then I compared that to looking at Man City. And basically, Man City have the same problems as Arsenal, game in, game out. And Liverpool do, and United. That everybody's going to put everybody behind the ball against those teams. But they've got a way of breaking them down. They use pace, they use the wings, they have shots. We don't seem to be able to break teams down at all anymore.
Do you know what? I'm listening to what Wenger says, and I tweeted it out, and I said that it's got to a point now where I'm not angry at what Wenger says anymore. I just laugh because nothing surprises me with what he says. You know, there was the whole time when he used to use money as an excuse why we didn't compete. Then Leicester blew that out of the water. And then he come up with another excuse. And then another excuse. And then his excuse for West Ham was the fact that maybe if we had played on Saturday like they did, and they had played on Sunday like we did, and we had that extra day's rest, we would have performed better.
Rubbish.
But then you look at on the flip side of that, Man City played on Sunday. They played after us. They played a local derby, an intense
game,
proper, fierce, hard-fought derby.
Yeah, because we played early kickoff.
And then they went to Swansea and won 4-0. So,
and we know Swansea from when we played them at the Emirates. They're a very hard team to break down. Even though we won in the end, but we weren't convincing.
The thing is, I said it in my interview, apart from, and I'm not sure the statistics, but until Swansea conceded them 4 goals at Man City, they had a better defensive record than us. And they're bottom of the league. It's scoring goals that's their problem. The
defending of Arsenal's been appalling this season.
If only we had a defender in the summer, innit? If only we knew that we needed one. This is the thing, Robbie. We can sit here and go over videos from before the season started. You can go to your Transfer Daily shows. You can go to podcasts we've done and everything. And we've sat there and said, we need defenders. I sat there in the interview after the Liverpool game and I said, what is this man doing? We need defenders and he's selling them. You know, it's what's going on with Rob Holding and Callum Chambers. I know Callum Chambers has just come back, but Rob Holding, he's not even getting on the bench now. It's like he's just been cast away. And it's, for as well as Nacho Monreal's done this season, you know, we go to West Ham and he goes to a 4, but a left back's playing at centre back. That shouldn't.
That's the only reason. I think that's the only reason we went to a 4, because he wanted to put Nacho there, you know, because he could obviously he can see that Mertesacker.
Exactly. You know, but they gave him a year's contract.
I know, it's just you know, as I said, I just look at the team at the moment, and like you said, the fans feel it because they all feel a bit downcast at the moment. The vibes ain't the same at the away games and that. It's like we're just accepting the whole club that we're just mediocre. And that's what is annoying me right now, because we're supposed to be a top club. And I think a lot of that's to do with the fact that we didn't freshen up this team properly. You know? I mean, we should have probably brought in, you know, it's only really Lacazette and Kolasinac, but it needed freshening up. There's players there who needed to go, and it's now just become a mediocre team. I don't think that West Ham the other night were overly scared of Arsenal. They know we've got ability. They know if they're not,
but they were comfortable.
If they're not on the money, yeah, that we'll hurt them. But they're not scared. I don't think Southampton was scared, you know. But once upon a time, when Arsenal used to go to those places, even when we weren't at our heights, I'm on about in the last say call it 4 or 5 years ago, when we used to go to those places, they were frightened because they're like the style of football we play. We will score goals. But at the moment, that's gone.
We were causing more problems when we had Shamak up front. Come on. It's, at the end of the day...
Is that the players? Or is that the...
manager. He's past his sell-by date. His tactics, his methods, everything is so out of date. Everyone knows what Arsenal are going to do now. It's, you know, Wenger ball and all this... Oh, seriously, shut up. We play some of the most boring football I've ever seen. And it's just, it's turned stale, Robbie. And it's like, you know, like Claude said famously a few years ago with the milk and stuff like that. That's what it's become. It's become stale. West Ham, set up 2 banks of 4 and said, come on then, come through us. West Ham. And Wenger's moaning. Oh, well...
Yeah, but
10 men behind the ball.
Do you know what?
They only wanted to defend.
Yeah, but
come on, West Ham are fighting for Premier League survival. They need points.
But you know what? I don't accept that no more from Arsene Wenger, because the thing is, Man City, every single team they go to play, even we went kind of defensive against them, right? So when you're a top team, when you're one of those elite, so-called elite teams, right? You know that Bayern's going to get that every week in Germany. Real Madrid get that. Barcelona get that.
And you've got to have the resources to break it down.
Yeah, you've got to know that every team. That's what you've got to practice against every week in training, because
I don't think they practice.
You know that every team is going to camp out, right?
I honestly.
But we used to have a solution to it. That's what I'm saying at the moment.
This club don't practice. This club.
Well, they've got to practice, DT. They've got to practice.
Right.
I reject that. They have to.
No, listen. Even down to the simplest thing, like taking corners. Does it look like we practice corners? We can't beat the first fucking man on a corner. We can put 4 or 5 different players during a game on a corner and they're the same result. They don't practice it. There looks to be nothing.
Well, they practice, but they're just not executing it right. But I know they practice. I know.
You know what it
coaches
is?
and that at the training ground. I know that they do practice. Arsenal's a very meticulous club when it comes to training.
There's no way they practice corners and stuff like that. Not hoping else. You know when you're a junior playing, right? Now I can't remember what age group it is. When they move from the kids' size pitches to the men's pitches, I think it's about 13 years old, something like that. And when you're on those kids' pitches, those little kids can ping in crosses from the corner and everything because it's half the size. The moment they go on a man's pitch, they ain't got the strength in their legs to put a cross in properly because it's too big. That's what our team's like. Like, the pitch is too big for them. I'm at the point, I'm just... You know what, Robbie?
Right, cheer up, mate.
No, do you know what? Do you know what? I'm kind of...
You're going to have me crying this week now.
No,
it's getting too depressing already.
I'm not...
But I hear you, man.
I'm not angry anymore. I'm angry, but I'm not as angry, like, it's kind of... There's that acceptance of what's going on now.
But there we go. Even that's not a good thing.
No, it ain't.
It's actually, I actually prefer, and people are going to say, oh yeah, because you get more views. This is bullshit. Don't listen to that rubbish, right? I actually prefer when fans are angry, because that means the expectations are high. So when a fan comes out and he's angry, the way we've been performing away from home this season, I'm like, our expectations are high. And that's why the fans are angry. But when fans are coming out and, like what you just said, I accept it, man. Boy, it's what it is. But that's even more damning. Because we're supposed to be a big club. We were told that we're progressing. We're not.
It's like when you look at my videos.
I agree with you the other night when you in that video that you did with me where you said we're going backwards. I was listening to that this morning. I was like, we are
going backwards because at the end of the day, we're 19 points behind Man City. I've seen some people go, well, you know what? We're only a point behind Liverpool. We're only like 4 points off, or like a point off the Champions League places. And I'm like, we're 19 points behind Man City. It's not even Christmas.
But then, you know what? When you think about it as well, it used to be top 4 was the norm. Now it's like the struggle to even get into that. That shows that we've gone backwards because top four used to be the normal position for us, even when we were performing badly.
Do you want me
we
to
were second, third. Yeah.
Do you want me to sum something up for you right now? About 6 weeks ago, Leicester were in the relegation zone. Their owners turned around and went, "No, need to do something about this. Sack the manager, bring a new manager in." They're now 4 points behind us. Leicester.
And they also went to Southampton, a team that we couldn't break.
And we're 3-0 up at half time.
We couldn't break down. It absolutely tore them apart. And, I'm sorry, Leicester don't have better players than Arsenal.
No.
They've got a good attacking line, but the way in which I've seen them playing recently, the way they use width with Damari Gray out on one wing and Brighton and Mahrez, and they width and, they're a difficult team to contain when they're coming at you with pace. Whereas with us, it's predictable. If it goes out to Alexis Sanchez, he never uses width. He always comes back inside. He tries his little chip balls into the box that nearly every defender in the Premier League who's like 7'10", laughs at and says, nice, thank you. Boom, tests it down and gone. On the other wing, there's no width. Hector Bellerin doesn't go past players no more. There's no width down that side. There's no width. That means everything comes in the middle. And as West Ham do the other night, banks of forward that just move that way, that way, that way, that way, and stop. Because we're just going sideways.
Yeah.
And
that's what it is. And the problem is that, you know, there used to be an old saying about wingers, they get chalk on their boots. You know, when they actually...
Not these ones.
Not these ones. It's like, you know, Hector is possibly one of the fastest players in the Premier League, but he don't take no one on. And the thing is, when the ball comes in to Hector, I know exactly what he's going to do. Even when a ball has been played down the line for him and you're watching it and you're going, first time cross, whip it in. Just whip it in. He has to take a touch and then he either gets closed down or it's like he has no confidence in his own ability.
You know what? Listen.
To whip it
let
in
me stop
first
you there.
time.
Let me stop you there. So let's get into the review because we're going to get to Hector.
Yeah.
So we start off with Petr Cech.
Don't think I'm going to be nice.
Starting on review of him, how would you assess him so far this season?
Poor. Had a couple of good games.
I think that's a bit harsh. I think there's been some games where he's saved our skin.
Yeah, and there's been some games where he's cost us points. And he's been really poor.
Which games has cost us points?
Do you know what? There's so many where he's...
I don't know. You know what? I personally think... Listen, he's not the Petr Cech that was at Chelsea.
No.
But he's a better goalkeeper than we've had for years and years, right?
It's not hard.
Well, but, you know, and I don't think he's been... I think to say he's been poor is too harsh. I think he's been...
Inconsistent is the word I use then.
I can't think of loads of games where...
You think until we got up to the period of the Spurs game and stuff like that, people were talking about taking him out of the team.
Yeah, but I think people have been too harsh. I think personally he's been okay. He's been, by his high standards, he's been average. But to say I don't think he's been.
I said he's inconsistent, and you said he's been average. It's pretty much the same.
Well,
thing.
average is.
Right, if we're going to give him a rating out of 10, 5.
No, I give him a bit higher than that, actually.
Yeah,
I give him 6. 6. I give him a 6. 6 bordering 7.
I'll give him a 5.
Because there's been games, honestly, he's saved us.
Yeah, well, I'll give him a 5.
There's been games he's saved us, man.
And
there's certain things that he does, like coming at corners and things like that, where he takes the ball. I mean, we never used to have that.
Yeah. Did you see the West Ham game when he comes to take one? Yeah, he nearly punched it in his net.
Yeah, that's one. Every goalkeeper in this league makes errors, right? But I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think he's been that bad. I think people have been overly harsh on him. It's easy to pick on him. His age.
We need a new goalkeeper.
And stuff like yeah, of course we do. You know, going forward we do. But at the moment, I think
5.
He's been okay. I'd give him a 7, but he'd give him a 5. 6 or 7, but
the viewers can vote on what they think.
Yeah. Let's get into it. I'm just going through the main players there. I'm not going to go like guys like Debuchy and that, but let's go. Mertesacker. He's played quite a few first team games. I'd have to say, he looks to me like he's finished.
He's finished. Free.
You know, he's finished. I mean, you know, the other day against Southampton, when he just slipped over and then tried to get it. I don't know. You just look at a player that his days are done. You know what I mean? You can't fault his effort and everything like that. You can't fault his passion. And you know what? Maybe in the future he's going to go into that coaching role and that, and that could be a good role for him.
I think it was Troops that mentioned it. He said that Gary Neville was playing a game and he got absolutely roasted, and I think it was West Brom, and he brought the player down for a clear penalty and it wasn't given. And at the end of that, Gary Neville sat there and went, "Nah, I'm done. I can't do this no more. I'm finished." And that was mid-season. He didn't sit there and go, "Yeah, I'll get through the rest of the year." And he sat there and went, "Nah, I'm embarrassing myself. I can't do this no more." That's what Mertesacker needs to do. He needs to sit there and say, "You know what?" And you only have to look at the team selections right now to show that even Wenger knows.
So out of 10,
3.
Lauren Koscielny.
What's your vote for him?
I agree with you, 3.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on your 3. Lauren Koscielny.
Poor.
Well, again, when we're doing this, right, remember it's a review, an assessment of the season so far. I think recently, the last, say, 4 games, he's been poor. At the start of the season, he weren't doing too badly. He was okay, you know what I mean? He weren't doing too badly, but yeah, recently.
He was okay at the beginning, then he had a good spell, now he's got a poor spell. It's in between, 5.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5, and he really needs to up his game. Like I think Troops again said the other night, he's the captain of the team. That error he made at the end of the game, if Rob Holding made that, we could maybe say, well, you know, he's a naive kid and.
If Mesut Ozil made that mistake, oh dear Lord.
Koscielny, some of the he's kind of had that throughout his Arsenal career, that little error-prone streak in him, and it's that some of the mistakes he's made, man. I mean, the ones at Man United, terrible.
Blindly playing the ball the way he did across the back line in the 90th minute.
Couldn't believe it. Nacho Monreal.
For me, possibly our best player this season.
Yeah, you know what? I'd say Nacho Monreal, your season review so far, I'd say, you know, well done, mate. I want to congratulate you. You've been consistent. All right, he did make a bit of a mistake at Southampton, but listen, no one's going to be a perfect thing, but he has played out of his skin. He's been playing in different positions, and everywhere he's played, he's done brilliantly. He's even he's scored a goal as well.
Yeah.
I've liked what I've seen of this guy. He's matured as an Arsenal player. He's been quality this season.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8.
I'd agree with that. 8 out of 10.
I think he is possibly our best player this season. I think, he would be if I'm looking through the team.
Yeah, he's played very well. Very consistent. If only everybody else was as consistent
as
there's
only 2 other players, which I'll get to in a bit, that are, I'm happy with.
Mustafi.
Poor.
Again,
inconsistency.
He came back and he was playing so well up until that Man United game.
You know what he's still got a problem with? He enjoys the floor more than standing up. He
does go to ground too much. You know, I was saying that to my son the other day when he plays. Like, are you going to ground too much? So stay on your feet.
Yeah, I think
he's a Mustafi. He's a professional footballer. He should know that.
I think it was Paolo Maldini that said something about, to be a great defender, you don't need to. It's not about making tackles. It's about up here.
Positioning,
reading the game.
That's why those like Chiellini and those guys at Juventus and that, they're so good. You watch those guys when they're defending.
You don't see them flying in all the time.
Yeah, they just
the only time they'll slide in is if they had to. But Mustafi, it's like he's just like, let's go sliding. I bet he loved it last week when it was snowing. As soon as he looked out of his window and saw it was snowing, he was outside on the hills, just sliding everywhere, all over the place. Mustafi was like, yes, I'm loving this. Do you know what I mean? It was, even in this day and age, right, you don't see players get dirty anymore. Mustafi still gets dirty. Like the old days when shorts and everything else is just covered, and Mustafi just flies everywhere. And that's his biggest problem. But
then he was playing well up until that United game. He had a nice, he was consistent. Actually, every game that he played in up until then, we hadn't lost. So, I don't know, man. I'm not going to mark him too. I think,
6.
6. 6 bordering 7, but 6, Right, we get to the man we were talking about a bit earlier, Hector Bellerin. Ever since he got his hair done in that long hairstyle, I don't know what's happened to this guy. He used to be, what we loved about him is that he'd get the ball, he'd blaze down that wing. Nobody could live with his pace. He was brave. This season, for me, Hector Bellerin is a player that's just playing within himself. He doesn't take players on, like you said.
Doesn't, no more.
He always cuts inside or cuts back.
Can't cross the ball.
Right, his crossing's been poor. And it's just like, I don't know, I see a player playing there, it's like his confidence is low. He's not trying anything. It's almost like it's safety first with him. Everything's safety first, you know what I mean?
But even that is poor.
Yeah, but that's why he's not playing well, because it's safety first. Instead of him trying to say, I'm going to try and beat that man, he's more worried about the fact that if he gives the ball away or if he gets tackled, he's more worried about that. And the thing is, more than anything now, he should be using his pace and that because he's playing as a wing back.
I think it was, what game was it? Man City. And I think I touched upon this one. And I said that you looked at Man City's left-hand side. You had Fabian Delph at left back. And Hector had all of the right-hand side to just run at him. Run at him. You're playing against a central midfielder and left back. Take him on. Take him on. No.
I mean,
touch inside. Touch inside. Touch inside.
If you look at
cross the ball, it hits someone in the box. Not the box where you're playing, the box in the stand.
You look at somebody like Kyle Walker, who I don't think has as much ability as Hector Bellerin.
But he's effective.
But look how he plays, man. He's up and down that wing. He's taking on players. He's brave. He's quick. He's dynamic. That's how Hector was when he first burst onto the scene. Now, I don't know what he's doing at the moment. And that's one of the reasons why we're unable to break teams down, because Hector's not providing any width.
No.
We're only playing in 3 quarters. When we get to that last quarter, he stops.
I'm at the point where I would like him taken out of the team.
Well, there's people suggesting bringing Debuchy.
Debuchy's done nothing wrong since he's come back. He's actually played really well in the Europa League.
Hector out of 10?
It's going to be the same marks as Mertesacker, really.
Yeah, I agree. 3. He has been poor. Sa'ad Kolasinac.
Another player that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
I'm happy. You know, he's his first season in England. Still obviously adapting. But looks like he's, coming along nicely. So we'll have to see how long it is before Wenger ruins him.
I love what I've seen of him. He's been dynamic. He's scored a couple of goals. He's skillful as well. He's strong. Yes, he's still adapting to this league, because even though he's a very physical looking guy, it's a very physical league. So that shocks every player when they first come in. But I think he's done very well as well. Out of 10?
What did I give Monreal? 8, wasn't I?
Yeah.
7.5.
Okay. I'd agree with that. Aaron Ramsey.
Do you know what?
Much better season for Ramsey.
Yeah, better season, but again, it's more... He's being asked to do a job that he can't do, the defensive side of things. Aaron Ramsey's not a defensive player. But yeah, he's been put in a position where he should be disciplined, where he should be...
Why can't he defend? Well, he's a midfield player.
I know, but he's more of that attacking side.
He's a box-to-box, they say.
What we should have, right, is that Aaron Ramsey would be perfect if we had an actual defensive midfielder behind him.
Hold on, wait a minute. He's a box-to-box midfielder.
I know he's a box-to-box.
That means, right, when we're attacking, you're in that box. When we lose the ball, you're back in your own box.
The problem with Aaron Ramsey, he's a box to not box.
Well, then he's not doing his job properly.
No, because he, even when you look at the Southampton goal, I think it was, he was up by the penalty area. How many times do we analyse goals that we've conceded this season?
So that's his fault. That's not the fault of a defensive midfielder. You're a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, cool.
You're supposed to get
that side
back.
of things, he is. But at the same time as well, it's down to players managing on the pitch, and it's also down to the manager and what he implements within the team. If he's been given the free role to just roam and do what he wants, then they're all as culpable as each other. Wenger, Ramsey himself, other players on the pitch that are not telling him to get back, be disciplined, players that maybe are not filling in his space while he goes. Game management. So they're all just to blame.
I think he's been decent this season, though.
I think his attacking wise, he's done really well. But there's still so much of his game.
I'd still like to see him scoring more goals as well. I think he should be scoring more goals. But
6.
Okay, I would have said a 7.
You would.
Wilshere. I know he's only really started one first team game, but I thought I'd include him because he has been starting to feature more prominently.
He's the one player that looks like he can lift everyone. Like there's a genuine buzz around the fans, and and when he starts playing and what he does, and even West Ham, he was the one player that
he drives into space.
Yeah,
doesn't
and
he?
it looked like he was putting tackles in against West Ham as well. Brilliant tackles.
Yeah.
And and what I've noticed about him, he looks more robust. He looks more stronger, more physical. He's getting hit exactly like he used to, but he's bouncing up. And it's the other players that are getting hurt. And it's, touch wood, I don't want to tempt fate, but, obviously everyone worries about his injury record and everything. But what I will say is that he nearly played a full season at Bournemouth before he got injured, right near the end. So he nearly played a full season. He's played about, say, 8-9 games now, 90 minutes. And we now need to just get rid of this whole injury stigma. Stop.
That's
Stop thinking about it.
I agree with you. Just every time.
Let him play.
I think that as well with a manager. I understand the fact that you want to make sure that the guy doesn't get injured again, but it's like it's like we're speaking injury into him. We just keep we've got to be careful and unleash the guy now. For me, he's been excellent this season. He's showing his ability. The thing that he can do, which is different to the other midfielders we've got,
he drives,
is that he can drive into space and he's creative as well. I think he's been good. He has to start now for me. I'll be giving him like at least a 7.
Yeah, I would as well. So
Mesut Ozil.
I think he's been one of our best performers as well. I've said it. I've stuck up for him all along. And
all season?
Yeah. I just think that he's been scapegoated. Even when I look at the Stoke City game, he was
all
running
season.
back. Yes, but people just don't seem to notice it. It's just...
Why? Why is it he's the only one we don't seem to notice when he's...
Because he's been made the scapegoat. I've told you this 100 times.
I don't know, man.
I've told you this so many times. The only performance that I've watched him in this
recently
season,
he's played alright.
The one time I can sit there and single him out and say that was not acceptable was Man City away.
What about Liverpool? Did you play at Liverpool? You played at Liverpool. What about Liverpool?
Listen, everyone was just...
Yeah, but I'm talking about him.
No, but everyone at Liverpool...
He's one of your main men. He's the guy. He's the big...
Listen, there was a lot bigger problems at Liverpool.
He's the big money man.
There was a lot bigger problems at Liverpool. Like the fact that we played a right back at left wing back. We put Lacazette on the bench. We had a player that was just about to leave to go to Liverpool playing. There was bigger problems with Mesut Ozil at Liverpool. But your
big man, where was he?
There was bigger problems at Liverpool.
Where was he?
Move on. There was bigger problems.
Where was he?
There was bigger problems. There was bigger problems at Liverpool.
No, but you were telling about people scapegoating him.
No, because you are just scapegoating him. Listen, Liverpool,
he's one of your main men.
But what could he do on that day when everyone else was playing like a bunch of fucking clowns? It was like...
Do you know what your top players do? Your big players do. They say, "Yo, give me the ball, man. I'm going to lead the fight back." That's what they do. Give me the ball. I'm going to lead the fight back.
How could there be any possible fight back?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what the big players like. Your Messi's, Ronaldo's, your Neymars, your people like that. They're like, when the chips are down, they're like, "Give me the ball."
You know what? On that specific day,
he doesn't
Robbie,
do that.
On that specific day, we could have had fucking Pele playing, and he wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah, but I'm saying that he's just I've heard this said about him before. He plays well when everyone else is playing well. He doesn't drag the team. That's what your world-class players do.
Even the West Ham game, he was trying to drag people along alongside Jack Wilshere.
He was poor against West Ham.
No, he wasn't. No, he was not.
What did he do?
The 3 players that stood out.
What did he create?
He was trying to create a hell of a lot. It's a bit difficult when you had Giroud not moving up front.
There we go. It's everybody else's fault.
Well, what's he meant to do? What's he supposed to do?
Break the team down. What did he do?
Oh, mate, stop scapegoating him. It's really
I'm not scapegoating.
There was 3 people.
You're in love with Ozil.
There's 3 people in the West Ham game.
Come on, when he's not played well.
There's 3 people in the West Ham game that stood out and looked like they were actually trying.
He was one of them.
He was one of them. Jack Wilshere was one of them, and Maitland-Niles was the other.
Wilshere, Maitland-Niles, yes. In the first half, I thought Iwobi, because he was taking play, did more than Ozil. What did...
Behave, man!
Listen, in the first half.
No. I don't get what this infatuation...
In the first half.
I don't get what this infatuation with Iwobi is.
What's the infatuation with Ozil?
Because he's a world-class player and he creates stuff. He creates all the time. It's not his fault that the people in front of him couldn't finish their fucking dinner. It's bollocks.
Of course he's world class.
Oh my God.
But I'm sorry, he needs to do more, DT. I'm sorry, this season, the last, say, 5 games, ever since the game against City, he has stepped up and he has improved. I'll give you that. Although I don't agree that he played well against West Ham. I'm sorry, he didn't. Right?
Yes, he did.
But he has stepped up since then.
Did.
But what I'm saying is, he's another one of those guys that is not. He's supposed to be consistently good. He's a world-class player. He doesn't show it week in, week out. What's the infatuation with him? Why does all the blame always go on to everybody else? Why is it,
Why
they're
is
not
the blame
making...
always go on to everyone else? All you lot do
They're
is blame
making
Ozil.
runs. No one...
Oh
It's not
my
Mizic's
God. Everyone blames Ozil. It's not.
I love Mesut Ozil.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You could ask our camera guy there. I'm always going on about Mesut
No,
and
you're
saying, Tal?
You're always.
I'm always saying
I'm
always saying how brilliant. The reason why I get angry with Ozil is because I know how good this guy is, and he doesn't show it. Well, I agree with you on that. That we should have a proper defensive midfielder behind him to bring the best out of him. That I do agree with, but he doesn't stamp his authority on enough games.
Move on.
All right, you don't want to. When it's Ozil, you don't want to think. All right, let's go. You got an Ozil fan club, innit?
Yeah, man.
You got posters in your room and everything. I bet you. Granit Xhaka.
Inconsistent. I've supported the guy. I've always said, that. But again, I think that he's.
What did we give Ozil mark anyway out of 10? What did you give him?
7. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Xhaka.
Inconsistent, but I think that he's a player that's got the wrong people around him, and he's not suited to what's going on. And I just think that
around him.
I just think that Granit Xhaka doesn't understand his role. I don't think that.
What is his role?
I genuinely think under a different manager and under a different system, he could flourish. And there's players out there that have been like that. Oh, you only have to look at Raheem Sterling. Look at Raheem Sterling. Pep Guardiola's gone and worked with him.
What do you mean? What is his role? He's a midfield player.
No,
right?
Jesus Christ.
It's a midfielder. All right. So let me just in the review. I'm doing the review. Yeah. One of the things I'd say to Xhaka, Granit Xhaka, you're a midfielder. That means one of the things I'd like to see you work on is your passing. Mm-hmm. It's been diabolical this season. Mm-hmm. Right? You said that other players have been poor. I think he's been amongst the worst players this season for Arsenal. His sloppiness, game after game, giving the ball away, passing it, just put under no pressure. Now, I'm telling you this, right? A professional footballer, when you're not being pressurised, I'm sorry, 9 times out of 10, that pass is supposed to find the guy that you're passing to, right? Granit Xhaka consistently this season, under no pressure from any other person, has just passed the ball straight to opposition player. And in games, in about 3-4 games, it's cost us a goal. He's been poor. I don't know what this guy does, to be honest. You're saying that, he doesn't know his position. Or he's a midfielder, but I don't know what type of midfielder is. Is he a defensive midfielder? Is he an attacking midfielder? What is he?
I don't think he knows anymore.
What is he?
I honestly think under another manager it'd be a good player.
Come on, some of these guys need to take responsibility for their own performances.
At the same time, I know there's something in there, but it's just not coming out, and it is poor.
What would you give him out of 10?
4.
4?
Yeah.
Nah, he's got to me. If Bellerin got a 3, he's a 3 as well. He's been no better than He's been very poor this season. I'm going to just whiz through these because they really played many games. Francis Coquelin and El Neni, the two of them, they've just not looked up for it this season when they've come in. I don't know what you think, but we won't give them marks because they ain't had enough games to really get marks. Alexis Sanchez.
One of our worst players. Don't look like he wants to be here. Hard to say.
Has he been sussed out? Someone was saying that to me at the West Ham game. They go, it's a West Ham fans. They said, he always comes inside.
Yeah,
so we just put two guys on him.
Maybe yes, yeah. He looks poor.
But he's been, by his high standards, and he's still scored goals and everything, and he's still had assists. And I saw even the other night in that game against West Ham, which he was very poor in, but he still created the most chances of any other Arsenal player. And he still had he still also had more shots than any other Arsenal player. That's what I'm saying with Ozil.
This is the thing with Alexis.
And he was poor, but he's still trying to make an impact.
The reason why the guy gives the ball away so much is because he's always trying to make the killer pass, be the, to split everything. Whereas everyone else goes like this. So your pass statistics will be great. Like Mikel Arteta, he was great at passing, because he passed it 2 yards to the side of him. Yeah. Alexis, the reason why he'll give the ball away so much is because he's always trying to make that, something happen, trying to get in there. But even so, his just whole body language doesn't look right. Doesn't look like he wants to.
Did you sell him in January?
It's that point now, yeah. It's at that point, and it's hard. And you know what I think of Alexis, and it's sad that it's gone this way. It's the only people that are to blame for it at the club for letting it get to there.
I agree with you 100% there. 100% I agree with you.
So if we're looking at the performances and we're looking at the way he's playing, there's only one person to blame, and that's the club.
Well, they're both to blame because
but what I mean is,
the club. And
do you know what it looks like as well? It looks to me like Wenger's got no balls. He's got no balls to drop him. It's like he's playing him in the hope he'll stay. When in reality he should be going, nah, you can't be in the team. You look at the West Ham game, who should have been on the bench, Lacazette or Alexis? Based on performances of recent, Alexis. But will he drop him? No, of course he won't. He won't drop him because in Wenger's mind he's thinking, if I drop him, then that's it. That'll be the final straw. Oh, I'm gone. See you later. Bye bye. I don't know whether Wenger's thought process is keep him sweet so he doesn't go in January and then he can focus on the rest of the season. Upset him now, he'll cause problems throughout January. But this is where you need a manager that's going to be tough and say, sorry, you're not playing. There you go.
Like Conte has done with David Luiz, like
Pep Guardiola
did with Aguero last season, like he
did with Joe Hart, like he did with the goalkeeper he bought initially.
Yeah. Caballero, was it?
No, the Chilean.
Yeah.
He's Alexis' teammate.
Yeah.
He bought him. Guardiola didn't sit there at the end of the year and go, you know what? That's his first year in England. Next year he'd probably be better. He would have adapted. He went, no, not good enough. Bye-bye.
I think every player in that City team knows he's not performing. He ain't playing.
Exactly.
Even Aguero.
Exactly.
Right. And as I said, even at Chelsea,
they went to the Manchester derby and put Aguero on the bench.
Yeah. Even at Chelsea, Conte, David Luiz is their best defender last year.
We sit there, and we go mad when Lacazette gets put on the bench because we know without him, we're missing something. I didn't see a single Man City fan complain when they went into their biggest game of the season at Old Trafford in a Manchester derby and they saw Aguero was on the bench. No one complained. They were like, oh, that's fine because we got Jesus and we got Sterling and we got...
Well, they trust the manager as well now.
Exactly. They trust what's going on. And they look at that and they go, you know what? It doesn't matter who comes into the team. They're going to perform. But us, we're like, oh my God, Lacazette's missing. Oh, that's it. I'm going home. I'm going home. And that's the mess we're in right now. As a club, we are in a mess.
Alexis out of 10.
3.
3?
Yeah.
I think that's...
No, based on...
harsh.
I'll tell you what I'll base it on. Because of his attitude.
Yeah.
Because 3. It doesn't... And that's why. Not...
Too harsh,
there's still parts of him where he really looks like he can, he can change games, he can do things, and I'm basing this on his whole attitude because I feel that it's disrespectful to us as fans.
I'll give him a 5.
I think it's disrespectful to the fans. And I would like someone at the club to just come out and tell us what's going on. Just tell me.
Well, I can tell you what's going on. He's going at the
No,
end of the
but I want the club to just definitively come out and say this is, and if
they ain't never going to come out and say.
But that's the thing because what they're doing is they're mugging the fans off. That's what they're doing.
Lacazette.
Really impressed with him. Really impressed. I still don't think we're playing to his strengths. Again, I still don't. How many times do you see Lacazette making the most brilliant run and the ball ain't coming?
Why let Ozil find him instead of people? Why? It's what you said, isn't it? No one makes runs for him. You just make it. Why don't Ozil find him?
Ozil created a lot for him.
Sorry, you walked into that. Sorry.
No, you'll walk into something in a minute. Do you know what I mean? Fucking it all. Jesus.
Right, yeah, no, Lacazette's been brilliant, man.
I'm really
in his first season as a striker, you know, it's a lot different to the French league.
You know, he's not played.
Oh well, that's another story.
He's not played any other competition apart from the Premier League. He was taken out of 2 of our biggest games of the season. Don't get me started. He's on the same amount of Premier League goals as Lukaku, who's Premier League proven, cost 90 odd million. So
I think Lacazette is a guy who wants to start every week, isn't it?
Yeah, and I genuinely believe that if you put, this is where I think that, you know, if for example we tied down Ozil and we had Lacazette, they're 2 players in the creative sense. They're the 2 players. You've got your striker and the 10 behind. We need to build everything around those 2. Everything around those 2. Solid backline, defensive midfielder, and then put what those guys love around them. You know, you look at the guy at Lyon.
Nabil Fekir. Yeah, he'd be perfect.
That guy, not just because of the way he plays and everything else. Go and watch the understanding that guy and Lacazette has. Lacazette doesn't need
I was chatting to Philippe Auclair, French football expert. He said to me that Arsenal could get him. That's what he said he could get him.
Check you.
Check you. Yeah, I do know people, you know.
Philippe Auclair.
But he said to me, he goes, I asked him, I said, is he the real deal? He said, he went like this, yeah. He goes, real deal. Real deal.
You say it like that? Real deal. Blood clot.
And he said that Arsenal could get him. He goes, if they put the money on the table, he'd come.
The thing is that I believe
he will be expensive.
Isn't it his dad that's his agent or something to do with him? And his dad has actually came out and said that the one club in England that he would go to is Arsenal.
That's what Pogba said. That's what this said.
I know, but you know, at the end of the day, honestly, for people that haven't, you know, paid too much attention to...
He could replace Alexis. Not as good as Alexis, but he could be that long-term replacement for Alexis. That's why I know we didn't look hard enough for replacements properly in the summer.
This is the thing, is that I would bring in players like him. I would even
fresh it up.
I would even go in there and go and get Mahrez.
Yeah, refresh it. Lacazette out of 10.
I'd say he's right up there with Monreal for me, with an 8. I think that, you know, he came into the Premier League with a big price tag. Being a striker, it's possibly being a striker is coming into a new league, such a high pressured league, a big club. Well, we are a big club, but we don't act like one. You have to hit the ground running as a striker, because if you don't start scoring goals and the questions start getting asked and it's like blah 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 blah. I think he's done absolutely brilliant.
All right, so 8. Olivier Giroud. He's done most of his work off the bench. All right, playing a lot of Europa League and stuff like that, but he's done most of his work off the bench. Been very effective off the bench, actually, for Arsenal. I think scored some big goals for us.
I think Olivier Giroud bullied Arsene Wenger. I think that the moment Olivier Giroud went to the press and started talking about leaving and you know, the French national team's assistant came out and said that if he's not playing, he won't be in the World Cup.
But how can he bully the manager? Because he's a
because the moment he comes out and starts doing that, Lacazette's on the bench and Giroud's playing against West Ham.
But he's got a long-term contract, so they don't have to you know. He has been, though, very effective off the bench. He has, you know, he hasn't sulked. He's come off the bench. He's been very, very effective, hasn't he? He's been. I think he's played well this season. Some of the games he started in the Europa League and that he could have done better, but even in those, he's still scored some in some of those games as well. Big goal. I think he's done well.
I do also think that we don't play to Giroud's strength.
Well, we don't. You can see against West Ham, hardly any crosses. He's one of the best.
Let's try and put the ball in behind, because miraculously overnight Olivier Giroud's got pace. Fools.
I'd give him a 7.
I won't go that high. I'd give him a 6.
He scored big goals this season.
I'd give him a 6.
Southampton. He scored big goals.
I'd give him a 6.
All right, you'll see. I'd give him a 7, but Walcott's hardly played, so I'm not going to rate him.
He looks like he's well out of the reckoning right now because he's not even getting on the bench.
He looks like a guy that needs to move on.
Yeah.
Iwobi, he's an interesting one because he gets so this is what annoys me sometimes, right? You ask me what's the infatuation with Iwobi. There's no infatuation. So I see a young player, a very young player who's come through our academy, right? And for some reason, this guy gets stick that he doesn't deserve. Now, for me, I was watching that game the other night, and I'm going to tell you this: in the first half, he was the only player. Him, obviously Jack Wilshere. He was the only player taking on people. He was being brave. He was trying to go past people. He was trying to. Now, don't get me wrong. His end product needs to improve. Right, that is where he's falling down. And in the second half, he didn't perform well. Right, but in the first half, if I was to say overall, he was one of the better players. But even then, people were having a go at him. He's a young, up-and-coming player. I think people need to have more patience with this guy. I think he's going to be a top player. I really do. But he needs to find that end product in his game. But I like the fact, I like guys like Bellerin and Lightfring. He's brave enough to say, you'll see him in games. All the time Iwobi calling for the ball. And he's what, 20?
I don't think that Iwobi's going to prosper under the current management. I look at Iwobi for Nigeria, and I see a completely different player. I see a player that when he's playing for Nigeria, he understands what the manager wants. The team around him know how he plays, how they play, and he just looks a completely different player.
But he's getting an unnecessary stick. He's a young...
Yeah, do you know what?
How old is he? Is he 20 or 21?
20, right? About that. You know, at the end
and the stick... Look, honestly, I don't like it.
Right, some of the stick is over the top.
This guy's come through our academy.
Listen. Some of the stick is over the top, and some of the stuff that people say is over the top.
Through our academy.
At the end of the day, right, when he plays poorly, you can criticise him and you can be critical and everything else, just like you are with every player. It doesn't matter whether you're 20 or 30. At the end of the day, you're being paid a lot of money. You're playing at a big club, and the simple fact is that if we're going to be winning Premier Leagues again, and we're going to be right up there challenging with the likes of Man City, and we're going to be in the Champions League, and we want to achieve, the ultimate goals and stuff like that, then right now, Alex Iwobi is not what we need. He's not going to be. Would he get in Man City's team? Absolutely no chance whatsoever. What would be happening at Man City is that Alex Iwobi would be learning from what's in front of him. He would be learning from experienced players, class players. He would be brought in, sparingly at the right time. He would be used wisely, and he would gain so much more that, and he would be confident, he would look confident, and he could express himself. But right now, he's being put into a team that's a mess, that's struggling, and he's just adding to that part. And I don't think it's fair on him that you're expecting someone to come into a team that's underachieving, underperforming, looks disjointed, not playing well, and expecting to go on and go out there and save us. So I think on the flip side of that, it's the manager's fault.
What would you give him out of
10? 5.
5.
I think it's pretty split down the middle. I do think some of the criticism is over the top. I've been critical with him, but based on his performances on the day,
nothing's wrong with that.
No,
right?
it's
But I just said the other night when I was in that game in the first half, there was a guy behind me every minute having a go at him. I'm like, from what I could see, he's the only guy that was what needed to happen to break West Ham down is you need to be what him and Wilshere are trying to do.
Do you know what it is?
Just try to drive into those spaces and bring West Ham out of their shape.
Do you know what it is as well? There seems to be certain players to certain fans that
they're easy to pick on.
Easy to pick on. When I was at West Ham, I heard one guy absolutely hammering Giroud all game, and he was calling him a cunt.
I hate fans like that.
And I was just like, wow. And then Bellerin, for as poor as he's been or anything, there was a fan that was calling him a hipster. I can't even describe some of the words that were being said. And I'm just sitting there and I was just, and this is what I mean. I'm sitting there at games now and I'm kind of getting lost in what's going on. so much focusing on what's going on the pitch at times. I'm listening to what's going on around me. I'm people watching, and I'm just looking, and I'm just like, it doesn't feel right. Especially away games, because that's where the hardcore go, the fans that travel up and down the country and everything else, and there just seems to be that.
You're fed up.
It is. It's like I said to you. It's. I know so many people that go to away games now just to meet their mates and get drunk. They don't care about the game. They don't care. The game is secondary. They're more interested in going to the game, meeting up with some friends, having a drink, having a laugh, and then the results like, we lost again. Oh well, like we didn't see that coming. And that's what it's like. And a lot of people have fought so much with the protests and everything else. They're now like, you know what? It didn't work. Wenger got a new contract. We only have to go to the AGM to see what the club really think about us as fans, the way Chips Keswick and everyone else treated us, that we're sitting there and we're going, we're not going to pull out banners. We're not going to protest. We're not going to do all these things. Because all it's going to do is get us mad for no reason. So what we do is we just go through the motions, get on with it, and then we can go and have a massive party when Wenger's finally gone. I'm going to have the fattest party when he's gone. I'm hiring out a field. No, I'm going to have it in your back garden, actually. That'd be big enough. Right? I'm going to have the biggest party. Right? You know, like Exodus back in the day. You remember them? In the big fields. Like
mind when Wenger's gone, you're not saying, boy, remember when Arsenal was there, man, boy.
No.
At least, I can hear a podcast in 5 years' time, and I can just imagine detail. At least when Arsenal was here. Right? I can't believe I just said that.
I am going to have the biggest party. It's going to be like in a field the size of Glastonbury. I'm inviting everyone apart from the AKBs. No Thai, no, you know what I mean? They're not allowed to come. It's just us, and I'm having the biggest rave. You can even get up and get on the decks and give it some of that. Dostifnikov. That's a joke. You can get out there and really crucial, Robbie.
Listen, Welbeck, we ain't done Welbeck yet.
Yeah, this is more interesting, man, when we talk about our private lives and stuff, man.
Welbeck.
Inconsistent again. It's injuries.
Started off well, got injured. Actually, he started off, he was like the main man. Yeah. He was the main striker at the start of the season.
And then gets injured, and then...
Yeah.
I said to you
Story of his career.
I said to you about Welbeck, right, is that his build-up play at times can be as good as anyone. He can beat anyone, he's strong, he's powerful, he's quick, and then he gets into the box and he turns into Yaya Sonogo. It's the best way of summing Danny Welbeck up.
What would you give him out of 10?
4. It's just, he hasn't played a lot of games.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5. I don't think he's been, he's not been below average. It's just the injuries are setting back.
And it's the finishing. And again, Robbie, you've got
started off the season well.
Again, you've got to look at it. And I hate, sorry to have to keep comparing and stuff like that, but if we want to be a big club and we want to challenge and be where we should be again, would he get in Man City's team? No. And they're not the type of players that we need to be going for.
Finally, the manager.
Oh, fuck.
We've got him in the room. We brought him in. We said, "Listen, it's time for your review as well." Right. So we're looking at you so far this season away from home. Terrible. Actually, let's look at it. Objectively here. So Arsenal's sitting there. We say Arsenal league at home's been pretty good actually. You've only lost one game, the game against Man United. All right, the defending was poor, but you won every single game. Away from home has been terrible. You've only won 2 games away from home. You've lost games at Stoke, Liverpool, Man City got smashed. Watford, you know what I mean? It's been very poor, drawn games.
Lost in Cologne.
Right?
Yeah, Cologne.
Right, then we go to the Europa League and we say, all right, Europa League.
First 3 games we've done really well.
Europa League finished top of the group, job done. You got us out of there. Carabao Cup, we're progressed in that. We're into the quarterfinals against West Ham. So, putting all that into it, but of course, the main thing is the league that you want to get. What would you give him out of 10?
What, for the league?
For everything. For his performance so far in everything, managing the club so far this season.
2. I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Carabao Cup. Look at the teams we've played so far.
Easy. Yeah, you're right.
And even then we made hard work of it, especially against Norwich. Europa League.
Easy group.
Easy group. Teams, with all due respect, very, very poor. And the fact that we've been able to navigate that with our second team kind of shows how poor it really was. Cologne haven't won a single game in the Bundesliga all season, and they beat us. Then we go to the Premier League. 19 points behind Man City, behind Burnley in the league. Away record's abysmal. Poor.
2.
Poor. The season's been poor.
I'll give him. I think I'll give him a 3. I'm going to go slightly higher just because the Europa League is all right. I know you're supposed to finish top of that group, but he did with the second team. We asked it, but I have to say the away form, the way the team's performing at the moment, is just not. It's mediocre, and this is Arsenal Football Club, and we should not be mediocre. We should be up there. I'm not saying we know we're not as good as City, but we should be doing way better than we were. And as I said, when we've played a couple of those big teams as well, away from home, we've been humiliated. I remember
the other thing is as well, right? Why I give him a 2, and this might make you actually change your mind to drop to a 2, right? Is that not being in the Champions League has meant we could rest our main players.
Yeah,
in
that's
midweek.
A good point. That's a good point.
We've been able to rest them in midweek, but yet our performances are worse this season after the players have been rested in comparison to last season.
Is that a fact? Is that a...
Yeah. Last season, at this time last year, we were top of the league.
Top of the league.
This time, last season, we were top of the league. We are 7th. 7th.
Yeah, we've gone backwards.
So, these players have been rested, right? So we've had none of this, tiredness, travelling in the Champions League, how difficult it is.
We've gone backwards, and basically,
So now I've just said what I've said.
Yeah.
Are you going to review your 4?
I'll still keep him at a 3. But I just think that we have gone backwards. I think that
we've gone from top to 7.
We've got players who don't know whether they're coming or going. It's a mess. But everyone's a bit disillusioned at the moment. So Mr. Wenger must do better when the next review comes, or else
Mr. Wenger must go. Mr. Wenger must go.
Well, he's got a new contract, hasn't he? So
he needs. You know what? Even I see an interview with Martin Keown after the West Ham game, and Martin Keown's always, stuck up for Wenger, left, right, and centre. Even Martin Keown is now to a point where he's like,
thanks for the memories.
It's time to say goodbye, and it's Arsene Wenger's a very lucky manager as well, because I think what's kept him in the job is these FA Cup wins. And we can have an awful season in the Premier League, and this is what I envisage, is that we'll have an awful season in the Premier League, finish 30 odd points behind Man City, and then we'll somehow go and win the Europa League, and it will save him.
Well, let's hope so. I wouldn't mind getting something out of the season.
I know, I wouldn't mind winning the Europa League at the end of the day. So try.
The Europa League is Napoli's in it now. But Atletico Madrid's in it. Borussia Dortmund.
But what you've got to remember is that all that's doing is papering over the cracks. As nice as it is, as nice as that day in May is, and everything else, and we can have that celebration.
But he's there for another 2 years. They're not going to sack him, are they? Listen, even if he had a dreadful season, the only way I could see him would be for him to walk away himself. But that's the thing. They're not going to sack him. He's in the amount of time he's been here. Imagine them sacking him right at the end.
Arsene Wenger has not got it in him to walk away. I don't think
so. He's here
because Arsene Wenger has blatantly said himself, football's his life.
And he said that beyond the 2 years he's still going to be managing.
I honestly believe that without football, Arsene Wenger would probably, don't say this the wrong way because it's not what I'm saying, but like if you see these people, you've heard about stories and stuff. 2 people, married couple, something. They've been together from teenage to their 80, 90 years old or something like that. And then when one of them passes away, the other one passes away like that. Because they've lost that piece of them, that heartbeat. And it's like they just pass away from, broken heart and all that kind of stuff. Like, I feel without football, Arsene Wenger would go. I reckon football's his life. And it's sad to say, that, if you took football away from Arsene Wenger, he would probably go.
Your heart might be broken when he's gone as well. So
no, it won't. it won't be. It won't be. It won't. I'm gonna when he goes, I'm actually gonna contact Arsenal and see if they want to put the flag in the museum. It's a part of our history, isn't it?
Listen, that's our review of all the players that have been the first time. What do you guys think? I would like you to in the comment section give us your review of those players and tell us how you rated them so far this season. And let's hope every single one of those players improve in the second half of this season, because so far this season, if we're being 100% honest, it has been poor. We have not, this is not good enough for Arsenal Football Club.
No.
Mr. DT, thanks.
No.
We'll be back again next week.
Can you say because again?
It's nearly Christmas.
Wait, can you say because again?
Because.
Yeah.
Right?
I see people make comments in the comment section about the way you say it.
Is it?
Yeah, it's because.
All
and you go, because.
That's
Sorry.
That's my posh talk. Download the podcast, because you better do that, because man, I'm bad man. No, download the podcast. Don't forget you can get it on iTunes as well. You know what? Next week we're gonna have to come up with some sort of Christmas special. It's Christmas, man.
Yeah.
You celebrate Christmas?
Of course I'll celebrate Christmas.
Merry Christmas, right?
I'm Scrooge. I'm the Grinch.
You look like Scrooge. You look like the Grinch as well.
I'm the Grinch. I'm going to come dressed as the Grinch next week. You know what I mean?
See you guys next week.